How much do you have to bet to get a free cruise? It's not so much like it's not a threshold. Basically, number one, there's an algorithm, Tom. Like you spend so much dollars and you get so many points from Royal Caribbean. You get more points if you do slots and you do table games. And there's kind of this black box behind it, Tom. So I can't answer that question for you. But for the free cruise, you'd have to accrue 2,500 points across any sailings between April 1st and March 31st. Now, that's not $2,500 because it's not dollar to point, more than that. So it kind of depends. So is there anything onboard credit can't be used for? It can't be used for anything that you can't use your CPass card for, Tom. Because remember, onboard credits, guys, you don't use an onboard credit to apply it to, I have $50 onboard credit. I want to apply it towards this purchase. It's a credit against your account. So if you spend $100 on your cruise total and on your CPass account, then and you have $100 onboard credit, then you'll owe $0, right? So just something to keep in mind there. But yeah, it can be used on anything that goes against your CPass account there. Any noticeable difference in service to the new main dining room menu? It was fast, dude. I mean, we were in and out every night in about 30, not just kidding. Right around 90 minutes. The earliest, the fastest was maybe about 70. But it was consistent and it was fast and it was great because we didn't have to worry about like, oh gosh, we're still here. Where the heck is our food? How much longer? Never had to worry about that. Carrie, this week's podcast episode will talk about that more in detail, but it was awesome. Are you nervous about Mariner not being ready? For my sailing on April 15th? No. They did cancel one sailing. You're right, Brock. I know what you're alluding to. But chances of my sailing being impacted by the dry dock it seems extremely unlikely. That's a lot of time for it to go over. And unless you start seeing, more than another couple being canceled, no, I have not even like an iota of concern, to be perfectly honest with you. It's going for a solo cruise for the first time. Do many younger people do them? Would be my first cruise. Don't want to be way out of my depth. I don't know that a lot of first timers do. There's not a lot of solo cruisers to begin with, but I wouldn't say there's a ton that could do solo cruising. I mean, that does happen. It's not like it's unheard of, but I wouldn't necessarily go into it, Nathan, with this idea that like, I need to be able to, the cruise is going to be good or bad depending on how many other people are there also solo around your age. I mean, at the end of the day, Nathan, remember, just because someone's there with somebody else, whether it's their family or a significant other or a friend or whatever, doesn't mean that they don't want to hang out and make new friends on board. That's part of the fun. So I think you'll love it. In terms of tips for them, here's some ways to meet people on board a ship, especially if you're doing a solo cruise. Number one, go to trivia events. Go to any event you can, because the more events you do, the more opportunities you have to meet people. Sit at the bar. That's a great spot to meet people. Ordinarily, conversations get struck up over there. Do shore excursions, Royal Caribbean group excursions. Then you're basically forced to go with other people. So that can work out very, very well there. Just wonder if these have a Broadway style play. No, there's no musicals. They do have Effectors 2, which is an original Royal Caribbean production. It's kind of a superhero show. There's singing in it, but I wouldn't call it a Broadway style show anyway. But yeah. And yeah, The Wizard of Oz, very interesting, huh? I was not expecting that announcement last week, certainly. Will the Oasis class ships come to Australia? Pre-pandemic, I think Royal Caribbean really was going to send one over there. Certainly, they were going to send one to China, Wonder of the Seas. That was the original plan there. And since China is a seasonal cruise area, it would have made sense that it would have gone down to Australia for the winter, or for the summer, rather. But who knows, Bailey? At this point, you've got a couple factors at play. Australia is still they had a great cruise season. They're wrapping up right now down under, as you know. And I feel like the season was it was like 2021 in the United States. It was kind of this like standing up still phase, right? But hopefully if things go well, and most importantly, if China reopens, I think there's a better shot at an Oasis class ship in Australia, but I don't know more than you do. Can you use onboard credit for your deposit with Next Cruise? No, because you don't use your CPass card for Next Cruise purchases. When you go to Next Cruise and you book another cruise while on Royal Caribbean, they're going to charge your credit card, not your CPass account. Thus, for that reason, you can't book a cruise with onboard credit. Did the kids menu in the main dining room change too? A little bit. Definitely has a new look to it, but the same things in there, spaghetti, and that doesn't change it. It's the same menu every day of the cruise. In fact, one night, Jennifer, I ordered the spaghetti from the kids menu. It's on the regular menu, so you can totally do that as well. Any recommendations for decent hotels in Miami? We actually have a whole article. If you Google Royal Caribbean blog Miami hotels, done a whole article on hotel recommendations. Intercontinental and the DoubleTree Biscayne Bay are my two go-to recommendations for hotels in Miami. Stayed at them, love them. They're really good. The Intercontinental is not cheap, but the DoubleTree Biscayne Bay is generally affordable. I mean, it's Miami. It's a city. You're going to pay a lot. You'll find a little bit better prices if you stay near the airport. Can I book a cruise a week before? If there's availability, yes. The issue is not so much can you, but the issue is will there be any availability? Because these days, cruise ships are selling very full. But if there is a cabin left a week before the cruise, yeah, you could book it. I mean, you're probably going to get very limited selection of cabins. You're probably paying a lot more for that cabin than somebody who booked it weeks or months before you did. So, yeah. An recommendation on vacation insurance. Is it necessary? It's not necessary, but I do recommend them. Travel insurance, it's like all insurance, Alex, right? Whether it's travel, medical, auto, it's a waste of money until you actually need it. Then it's amazing, right? So, when it comes to travel insurance, number one, they're not all the same. So don't assume, this company, oh, I'm going to go buy travel insurance from the first place I can find, or the company I'm about to say right now, and assume that's the best option for you. Look at the policy. Be very clear, Alex, about when it kicks in. Read the policy. Please read the policy so you understand it, because you're talking about weather-related issues. They do cover some. You need to figure out exactly when that works. Anyway, Allianz Travel is the one I always go with. I don't have an affiliation with them whatsoever, but they have a good reputation. That's why I book with them. Who do you tip in cash when on board when you have included gratuities in your fare? Super thanks for everything. I always tip the waiters when I get a drink. Even if I have a drink package, I always just give them an extra $1 anyway. The porters, obviously, they're not included with your fare, so you probably already know that. I think with just waiters, and why do I tip them? Because the gratuity is already included with a drink package. I tip them an extra $1 because honestly, they'll come back to you, a little bit better service, and I think they deserve it, quite frankly. So I'll do that, especially for diamond drinks, which there's no gratuity included with that on their own. So I think it's very much behooven. It certainly is a good idea to tip on that. Other than that, just short on shore, Patrick. But yeah, basically drinks primarily. Oh, sorry, I forgot at the end of the cruise. The end of the cruise, depending on the crew member, I may tip the main dining room staff, the stateroom attendants. Like, I know they're already getting the gratuity. I may give them a little bit extra money. Like, I'm not tipping them like with the idea that I'm not tipping the automatic, but like, here's an extra whatever, right? And also, if you're in a suite, the suite concierge would also be one right there. Best hotels with a shuttle to Galveston Port. Ugh. I don't. Well, it's a double-edged sword. Number one, double-edged problem. Number one, I don't have any recommendations that I've stated, so there's that. Number two, I actually don't prefer hotels with shuttles. I think the problem is, in my opinion, number one, I hate shuttle services because you're going on someone else's schedule. They're limited. You can be waiting around a lot. But number two, you're limiting your selection of hotels. You may find a better deal at a better hotel and then just do Lyft or Uber, which is what I would do, Evan. So for what that's worth. Think about purchasing the unlimited dining package. How does a la carte restaurants work? At a la carte restaurants, you get a stipend, Josh. So basically, you get a certain amount of money you could spend at that restaurant. Anything over that, you'd be on the hook for. So hope that makes sense. Josh, thank you for the super chat. Don't cruise until August, but how soon are we able to get tags for the suitcases? Are they emailed, and what are the steps for them? There's two ways to get them. One is you can wait for your e-docs to be delivered to you. It'll be the last page on there. You can print them out. But I just go to the website, Chris. About 45 days beforehand, when you log in to your account, you'll see the ability to print out tags on the website. So go over there. That's the easiest one to do. But if you otherwise wait for your e-docs to be emailed to you, and then you can print it out off that. And that's it. It's pretty straightforward. Thank you, guys. Have a great week, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do something fun. And we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Bye, everybody.